cast all these weird shadows and stuff, and it's always a big thing, and it's always hard in a new place to figure out how to do the lighting right because I have such particular needs. So spent a good while trying to figure that out tonight. Didn't quite figure it out, but I will soon, and then I can make videos a little more calmly. My knee, I'm gonna ice my knee after this. Anyway, without further ado, I think some of you may know from my last video that I was at that time in the middle of reading the Copenhagen Trilogy by Tove Ditlevsen. And I finished it, and I loved it. I loved it so much. So that is this one. The Copenhagen Trilogy by Tove Ditlevsen. This book is fantastic. It is broken into 3 parts, which are called, I believe, it's been a while since I read it, Childhood, Youth, and Dependency, which is about our marriage. It is a autobiographical text by Tove Ditlevsen, who is a Danish poet I had not heard of before, but I hear she's quite popular in Denmark, and her name is known beyond this translation of this trilogy. This translation came out this year, and it's just phenomenal. So, the first section of the 3, the way time is condensed, is so brilliant and unimportant. Like, you barely notice what she's doing. It doesn't call attention to itself, but time is condensed in this really brilliant way, and the prose just glows. It's like polished and really refined. It's not showy at all, and yet it's really beautiful. And that's true for all 3 sections, but I found it most true for the first section. And then the second section is youth, and it's like about partying in their 20s and things like that. It's also very good. And then the third section, Dependency, also good. It's about her dependency on her husband, who gets her involved in drugs as well. I mean, what year was this in? This is, not current day, but I don't know when it was. Yeah, so Childhood she wrote in 67, Youth in 67, and Dependency in 71. She died in 76, so I don't know, maybe like Dependency is from, it says in the book, but I haven't read it in a while, it's from decades ago, right? So he gets her hooked on these painkillers, and she becomes addicted to them, and the way she writes about it is just fascinating, and the way she kind of like falls into that cycle with her husband is gripping. It's so gripping. It would feel like the plot of a thriller, except it's a real life, and there are just so many odd details that make it definitely worth a read. So, I'll place that over here. Okay, then what I'm reading now, I just picked this up at the bookstore when I visited the other day. It is Rachel Cusk's new novel, willfully oblique, if you will. She lets you in a little bit more than Faye does in the Outline trilogy. Also, is this cover not absolutely gorgeous? So basically it's about this woman who has a second place, like a second little house on her property that she and her husband discovered when they were clearing away the forest and all the brush and the marsh and stuff. And she invites this painter she greatly admires, to stay in the second place and work there as a kind of retreat. And she's done this with other artists in the past, but this time the artist, the painter she greatly admires, is not quite as she thought he would be. She had all these assumptions about the great friendship they would build together once he came, and it's just not happening that way. I'm only halfway through it at the moment, as you can see here. That's a good sound. That's a good sound. So, I don't know how it ends, but I really like Rachel Cusk's writing, so I'm in good hands, I think. There's something else I want to say about this. Oh, just throughout the whole thing, this narrator is full of really interesting observations. She sees the world in a very interesting way and just notices the strangest things about people's behavior. But you can see I've, bracketed off tons of passages, underlined them, because I really, really, really am liking it. And again, it's gorgeous, so that's what I'm currently reading. And then finally, what I'm gonna read next is Black Swans by Eve Babbitts. Black Swans by Eve Babbitts. I think all three of these books are just beautiful objects, besides the writing being gorgeous as well. Well, I don't fully know about this one yet, but I did read a bit of it when I was in the store. I picked it up at this store that is just, I keep saying to myself, I want to take $100 there one day and just buy a bunch of stuff because it has the coolest selection of things. It's kind of like part newsstand, part gift store. It has tarot cards, it has stuffed animals. Eloise, my spotted whale, in fact, is from the store. It has candles, incense, books, wrapping paper, children's books, perfume. It's great. Really well curated, basically. So, and they're constantly swapping out which books they carry, which makes it really fun to go and see what they have. And the reason I like this edition or this book, I don't know how well you can see, but this is a light pink color and this is a dark green. So I picked it up for the colors. I think the font is beautiful, the way it flows, like here. And I had seen her name before, but I'd never read anything by her. But apparently this is a collection of 9 stories that look back on the 1980s and early 1990s in Los Angeles. hostages are supposed to look tormented, but everyone else on TV, even senators, seems unable to stop at anything. This mentality, alas, is really bad in LA, where the light is so pitiless. If you want to see all this striving against the ravages of being human in state-of-the-art proportions, go to the Rodeo Gardens on any Saturday afternoon. It is there that the body lifts, skin peels, fat suctioning. It is there that the body lifts, skin peels, fat suctioning, teeth bonds, and collagen flourish in the gracious noonday shade. It would almost look corrupt, except to be corrupt you have to have once not been, and nobody in this place was ever that, except the bus boys, maybe. So basically, it just seemed to have a very strong voice and point of view, and that's what I like in writing. So this also comes with an introduction by Stephanie Danler, who, if I'm not mistaken, wrote Bittersweet, that book with like that pink book with the wine glass kind of tilted or spilling or something on it that blew up a few years ago, about like a love triangle in the restaurant industry in New York City, maybe. I don't think it's for me. I don't think her writing is for me, but I'm willing to be persuaded. I'm talking about Stephanie Danler now. If you read Sweet Bitter, Stephanie Danler's book, and you liked it, let me know, and I'll pick it up. But when I kind of like flipped through it at a store some years ago, I didn't think it was for me. So this is the book I will be reading next. Alright, those are 3 book recommendations